Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to, like I always do. I'm gonna just jump right into this. It's high time that the NFL, the media people, the media in the NFL, in the whole, the whole football arena there. I'm like, need to stop, go ahead and stop playing with this whole Russell Wilson thing. Russell Wilson should be one of the top three, top within it say top five, but at least it's one of the top three when you start talking about when you start talking about this MVP race. I mean, the man has been brilliant. He makes up over 80% of the Seahawks offense, scoring in the whole 9 yards. The man does it all. He's doing it all. They lost their best cornerback, one of arguably one of the better cornerbacks in the past few years in the league. Richard Sherman. They've lost Cam Chancellor, one of the top safeties in the league. Everything is going on. Not really fine, not having a great running game whatsoever and whatnot. But things are starting to fall in place. And CLCL can definitely be a scary team. Russell Wilson keeps this pace up. It's like there's no you can't keep trying to deny him like he does not exist. Uh, Russell Wilson thus far this season, 3,256 yards passing, 26 touchdowns to 26 touchdowns. He has a 62.4 uh, completion rate. I mean, and the team is 8-4 right now. They can easily finish out 12-4. Hope they don't get my Cowboys, but like 12-4, 11-5. Um, so goes the Seahawks. So goes Russell Wilson. So goes the Seahawks. I mean, that's just where that this man is being dynamic. He's doing everything possible. He's doing everything to will his team to win. And everybody wants to keep. They talk about Brady every year. All right, they talk about Brady every year and what he has going on over there in the whole 9 yards. That's an every year thing about him being in the running. Normally, sometimes Aaron Rodgers in the running just based upon what he does, obviously. Um, and they've been having, Wentz this past year. Okay, Wentz is doing this. Wentz, he's the top guy and everything like that. Then of course, they played Philly this past Sunday, and we saw what happens. And I called it. I just figured. I said, well, I'm like, they got. I mean, Wilson is the real deal. Wilson has always been the man. Is not a quitter. He goes on. He's going to keep playing until that whistle is over. Until they blow that last whistle. And he's a player. I mean, he comes in and he throws 3 touchdowns. And again, like I say, doing the things that he does. Uh, what else do you want from it? What else do you want from an MVP? You know, you're talking about 20 for 31, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he had 6 rushing attempts for 31 yards. So it's like I don't, so that's what he did to beat to help seal a victory against the Eagles when a lot of people was feeling the Eagles just gonna run over them. And I'm just like, no, not like and at this particular point, the way that he's playing, I'm like, hey man, I'm like, he needs to be in the discussion. And I remember a couple of weeks ago I did a piece on Russell Wilson and how he's never mentioned amongst the elite quarterbacks in this league. And that's a shame. I'm like, how do you not mention him as one of the elite quarterbacks in the league? And right now, and then even with the whole thing of this year and the MVP race, nobody's talking about him. They just kind of started mentioning a little bit about him just because the whole thing with Carson Wentz this past Sunday. And I'm like, look at his play. Look at his play. And it's like he's masterful. And that option that he did to that guy Davis, I believe that was the guy's name was masterful. I mean, he improvises, he does what he needs to do. He can sit up there and be a running quarterback and get all kind of yards and stuff, but he just tries to keep the play going on. He can make plays with his legs. He can throw the ball. He can do it. He is phenomenal when it comes to rolling out the pocket. Opposite is a right-handed quarterback and rolling to your left and then throwing it a frozen rope when you're not really when you has an ability to square itself up and get the ball downfield. I'm like, he does it just as good as anybody ever does it, as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, it's high time that people need to stop acting like this guy does not exist and give it up. Russell Wilson is one of the best quarterbacks, one of the top quarterbacks in the league this year. He's been one of the best quarterbacks, in my opinion, for the last 2 or 3 years. But nobody wants to talk about maybe not a bunch of gaudy stats or whatever like that. But it's like it's about he's a winner. He's been a winner since he came into the league. And that's all you that's the only thing you're supposed to ask for out of your quarterback. What does he? Is he a winner? He's a winner. He's a winner. He's 64, 27, and 1. Lifetime, right? So far, lifetime plan, he's a 64.3 completion rate, 153 touchdowns, over 21,449 yards uh, passing. And like I said, and he has that. And I'm just like, what else do you really want him to? What else do you want him to do? You know what I'm saying? And already, he's 8-4 in the playoffs. He's 8-4 in the playoffs already, and he's 29, and he still has a lot of football, a bunch of football left. He's just 29 years old, and he's 8-4 in the playoffs already. So, like I said, so it's high time that everybody needs to go ahead and stand up and take a look at what the young man is doing. And like I said, I don't see no reason why he probably can't finish up right at with 4,000 yards passing and probably another 10 touchdowns or so. Probably another 10 touchdowns or so, possibly. So Russell Wilson is, like I said, he's a one right now. He's doing everything, and he's definitely the most valuable player for his team. And he's not just somebody that's doing all this and they're not winning. They're winning. They're winning ball games. They're winning ball games, and he's doing everything. He's doing way more than a lot of other quarterbacks are doing. You know what I'm saying? That has running attacks. He doesn't have a running attack at all. He doesn't have that. And he's still making things happen with even with some of the receivers he has that's basically in so many ways being disrespected as well. So, so you're gonna have to give it up to Wilson and stuff like that. Yeah, he's top. And I figure if he finished the year out and they get their team gets his team up into the playoffs and all that stuff there and winning that possibly it might be a possibility of winning that division. I'm like, you got to give it to him. I'm like, he's done what I'm just like, that's the whole thing. Like, what else do you want him to do? He's doing it all. Like, what else do you need him to do? You know, and you definitely need to take heed to that and what he has done. And like I said, he need to start mentioning him again. Like I said, need to continue to start mentioning him as one of the top quarterbacks in the league, and stop trying to act like he's not, that he isn't. And that's that's why a lot of times try not to make a thing a racial thing. But what else can it possibly be? What else could it possibly be aside from that in a lot of cases? So you got the Seahawks right now. Like I said, the Rams are above them. But like I say, I'm like, it's basically them and the Rams. And I'm like, catch the Seahawks on a good day, they could probably get the Rams. But we'll see what happens. But I'm like, I see them getting in the playoffs again. So like I said, but the young man is balling. He's playing ball. He's put the team on his back, and he's doing what he needs to do. And that's the markings of a great quarterback. That's the markings of a great quarterback. That's the markings of a great leader, great quarterback, and a winner. And that's exactly what he is. He's a winner. And you know, that that what else you want him to do, and he has to be recognized now as a person, as an MVP candidate, because his numbers is just as good as anybody else's, just as good as anybody else's. So y'all need to so definitely give it up to Mr. Wilson and whatnot and everything. So yeah, so check me out, Everything Football 62 YouTube page. Subscribe, leave some comments at any of the various topics that I put up. Also, look at check me out on Twitter, Everything Football 62 or Untucked Man 62, and follow me. I'm always, sometimes I retweet some of the things that I've talked about and everything. Like I say, I retweeted the whole thing about Russell Wilson and like him not being mentioned and stuff. And like I said, a piece I did about 2 weeks ago about him. So it's like I'm right on the cusp of that cusp the cusp of that type of stuff, because like I said, trying to watching a lot of football and checking the whole thing out, watching it as I have for years, and how these players sometimes get disrespected and whatnot. I'm just like, this man is the real deal. People need to stop acting like he's not or whatever, or not wanting to mention him, and he needs to be mentioned. And it needs to be high time saying, you're one of the top quarterback in the game, or you do have two black or Nubian quarterbacks that are some of the tops. You could talk mess about Cam. I was like, Cam still a little bit whatever, but when Cam is on the roll, he's just as good as he's just as dynamic as any quarterback that ever played the game. When he's on the roll, when everything is going fine, he has to find a way to make things happen because they don't have a running game. Now, still, they don't have a running game. So, like I say, man's dynamic. Russell Wilson, extremely dynamic. I mean, what I'm saying? Cam may be more dynamic because of the size and the strength and all in the arm and all this kind of stuff. But Russell Wilson is just a gamer. He's a player. He doesn't get flustered. That's the only thing, the difference between him and Cam, I honestly feel. Cam gets flustered too fast. Russell Wilson, everything is positive with that man. Even when they feel like they down, everything is positive with that man. That man's gonna come and give you everything he got until the whistle blows. All right. So yeah, so it's high time you need to start recognizing, yeah, one of the top quarterbacks again should be in the running for MVP. Sure, I mean, because Cam ran away with it back in 2015, so it's kind of a tight thing now, sort of, kind of. But I think a few more games with Russell Wilson, he should be able to get that. Because I like I said, we'll see what happens though. We'll see what happens. But it's high time to give up the respect to number 3. High time. Y'all have a good one. We'll be back with you a little later. All right. Thanks.